This is the weekly update for the STOic tabletop exercise project. We've spent the week doing some project management stuff and getting prepared, and Norris has been tasked with going through a lot of existing third-party information on tabletop exercises and how other organizations do it and how other frameworks do it. So she's been consuming all this and decomposing that information down into useful guidance for us. And we have focused Norris on not looking at the existing HEFESTIS tabletop exercise material, because we have our own framework. We have the framework we've been using for about a year and a half, which is the basis and the foundation for STOic TTX. But we want Norris, who hasn't seen the HEFESTIS material, to get really good at understanding how other frameworks work and their benefits and different tips and tricks that she might figure out from that. And then, as of next week or in the next couple weeks, to now look at the HEFESTIS material and start to use her background knowledge now to look for areas where we can improve it. The HEFESTIS tabletop exercise material is focused on HE and FE and is focused on smaller teams and the specific resource constraints for the HEFESTIS members. We want STOic to be a little bit more general and to encompass a wide variety of different organizations and resources and team sizes and complexities. One of the things that Norris found in her reading is that the size of the participant groups become key. And as from my experience in recreational tabletops, size gets to be a problem. If you have more than 5 or 6 people, then you have a reducing return on the value that any one participant gets because they don't have enough time to participate. And Norris was finding the very same thing with her research and her reading, that if you have very large groups, over 10, then you end up with some pretty big problems in terms of participants feeling like they've got value out of the exercise. And that's a very important point. I have run tabletop exercises with technical teams up to 12, and it worked because of the team dynamics. I ran a management exercise with 10 people, and that did not work. That was too many people because there were too many people with too many opinions and too many things to say, and not everybody got to participate equally. And that was a challenge. So the number of participants in an exercise is crucial, and that's something that we're going to take a look at, and we're going to come up with some guidance and some ways to deal with that, because you need to be able to exercise everybody, and 6 people is not a lot of people in a group. So we're going to take a look at cascading these tabletop exercises so that we can get everybody exercised and the key people exercised while still keeping numbers small. So cover everybody in smaller groups and smaller numbers. We're going to play around with some ideas on that. One of the other things I wanted to cover in this update is why it's called STOic. And there's 2 reasons why I've chosen the name STOic. One, we wanted to have a tabletop exercise framework that was going to be applicable for the strategic, tactical, and operational teams and the layers, the lenses of looking at incident response in your organization. So a senior management level, a incident management level, and then the operational level. And those are the 3 layers, so STO, STOic. The other reason why I called it STOic is because one of the big outcomes of a tabletop exercise and a culture, a process of continuing to do tabletop exercises is a sense of calm and a sense of assuredness and strength in your organization's ability to handle incident response. It is really, really easy for an organization to get good at the incidents it's had in the past. Right? We've experienced these problems, and let's exercise on those things, or let's get better on knowing how to handle the incidents we've already had. That doesn't necessarily help you get good at the incidents you're going to get, and you don't know what those are going to be. So what this process is going to do, and our goal in this process, is to help teams, help organizations get better at being confident and being calm, being STOic in uncertainty and in the future types of incidents that you can't predict. You don't know. You have no clue whether or not hackers are going to completely change their approach and attack you in new and novel ways that you simply could not have predicted. And that's what we want the tabletop exercise process, our framework, to be able to do for you is to not just be able to exercise the playbooks that you've got, but to take the next step and to be resilient about an unknown and uncertain future. We want you to be stoic.